Hey, good afternoon. Welcome back. Welcome back to the live stream here for the New York afternoon session. I want to welcome back everyone who was on the morning session and also send out a welcome to all those joining for the first time today for the afternoon session, all the returning members as well as newcomers. All right, I'm checking now just to see where we left off at from lunch. I know during lunch there was a member that went long down in this area, and we were watching that trade happen. And I had fully expected for price to push up through these two equal highs. I think his take profit was somewhere in the middle, but I believe that these two equal highs would be a draw on liquidity. I thought it would happen before lunch, but if not before lunch, I thought that lunchtime would take that out, and it looks like that absolutely has happened. All the way up to, I think I hit 17,130, and we see it reached a peak of 133 and a half. So that's good to see. Good to see that having expectations can be met. Let me see where that entry was, because I also had an entry that ended up breaking even. Here on the 1 minute, okay, it looks like the entry would have been likely here if you were just looking at a fair value gap. All right, we just had a huge push down on one candle here to start off the 1 o'clock hour. Well, at 101. Okay, going down to the tip of the breaker, it looks like. Also, that's right around the 50% of this fair value gap I just drew. So during the lunch hour, we saw a retracement into that gap. Obviously, you would have had your stop loss down here. And then it was a run up to profit. Oops. That back. Anyone who entered on this fair value gap, which was the same one from the silver bullet, they were free and clear with very little drawdown. They just had to endure about an hour of price action in order to reach the target. Okay, look at price pushing now. Wow. Okay, so my first observation when I took a peek at what price did during lunch is I was looking at what they call trend line liquidity, where you see price kind of do a stair step up from one area to another. Right, so essentially this is what we had for lunch. Price hits the trend line and bounces up and keeps making new highs, right? And so as people see that, you start seeing trailing stops here and then moved up to here, then moved here, and then moved, people continue to move their stops as price is moving higher. So this is just an effort now to sweep all those people out. So we took this first level, then it took the second level, then it took the third level, all the way down to the fourth level. Well, actually, let's check this one. Okay, not quite that one. But we got all the way to here, which is the 11:30 low. So the low of the hour before lunch. Let me get rid of this trend line. Right, and so we saw all of those lows being swept, including the most recent one. Yep, this one too. While I was talking, price decided it wanted to take that one out too. Let's look and see where the low for the day is. All right, let's see. So the low of the day was actually at around 118. Prior to opening up this morning, and then this morning's low was at 103, which was just taken out. So now we see our low for the day has been swept. Now we want to just wait and see if price continues to show lower prices, or if we see a rebound and the reclamation of some of these areas here where we're then looking bullish again. But for now, we want to be aware that a lot of lows have been swept and there could be lower prices sought. You know what? Let me go and grab the dollar and put it up on the weekly. Yep. Therefore, we can do a short little analysis that similar to what I do in the morning. Okay, so this is the weekly candle. We've seen it pushing and make lower prices all week. There were no real, well, actually, there's a fair value gap right here that it pushed through. We won't know where it closes until the end. But the draw on price for the weekly is here. We have equal lows. So I'm not sure when it's going to reach that level, whether it's today, tomorrow, whether it's next week, the week after. But that's the draw on liquidity. So I'm looking for lower prices coming out of the dollar, which would then in turn have me looking for higher prices in all commodities. Now, obviously, price doesn't just move in one direction, but overall, I still have a bullish bias, even if price is selling right now. This is the daily candle. So we saw the daily push create a new low, which is what we expect. But we have seen a rebound since then, pushing to close back in to make sure there's no fair value gap. And let's move down to the hour and look and see where price may land. Okay. So we have that fair value gap not matter. We're in the middle of this one. Right now, price is above the 50%, but we'll see if, and this is only in 7 minutes. It's gone all the way that high. So we'll look and see if we can get a push down. But if not, if price continues to buy up and we'll start looking at returning to like a new day opening gap, then we'll look for lower prices on the commodities. But that's where we are for now. So I want to jump back over. Let's grab ES, see where ES is for the hour. All right, still has not taken out yesterday's high. Right, the high before midnight open. I mean, it's technically today since it was after 1800 yesterday, but nothing since the midnight open. We haven't taken out these highs, so I'm still hopeful that we'll move up and take out that high. But if not, since dollar is buying, we did have a sweep of this low already, similar to what we saw in Nasdaq. Right. There's also a fair value gap here, a bullish one that it's in the middle of. So we could see a bounce from there. And just underneath is a new day opening gap from 2 days ago, stretching across. So it could find support there and then move to higher prices. So for now, let's just wait and see. But I did want to give you just a quick analysis of what I'm seeing or what I saw this morning and where the other commodities are. Yeah, you're right, John. It did. It's weird that that wasn't listed anywhere on the news. And then when I looked at that auction PDF, it looks like there's an auction every week or so. So they never really put it in the news anywhere. Okay, we still see price respecting this level that we've gotten respect from all morning. We've gotten two decent sized bounces, I guess. The first one was for about 30 points, and the last one that we received was about 20 points, bouncing out of this area. So we'll see if this third time's a charm and we can actually break some highs and start pushing upwards, or if we're going to hang around this area for a while. Hmm. Yeah. I've honestly, John, I've never had anyone mention the note auctions as a price indicator, but I have to I have to seriously consider that now that you brought that up and you mentioned it now. 2 days in a row, we've had a reaction at that time based on these note auctions. All right, let me drop down time frames and see if it's a little cleaner. Not really. Okay. Yeah, I wonder if that can be built into a strategy where similar to like the opening bell, where you sort of have I don't know, a target for price to move during that time. I think it'd be really interesting to check that out. Maybe over the New Year's weekend, I can take a peek into that. But thanks for bringing that up, John. like these are the kind of things that this channel is very rewarding, where we bring in a lot of different traders. Everyone has their own style, their own indicators, and things that help them trade. And so we're all learning, and I appreciate that. Okay, no problem, John. Take care. I'll see you on the next one, or see you a bit later. All right, looking at this 5 minute, looks like we just had a little sideways action for the lunch hour. Run on a few stops, and at 1 o'clock, due to the treasury bill auctions, it looks like we had quite a bearish reaction that went and took out these relative equal lows near the 50% mark of this fair value gap that was created at the close of yesterday. In fact, it traded all the way through. For anyone who had a stop loss trailing below, traded all the way through and then rejected and closed above. Back down to the 1 minute. Like we might have a breaker here. Last one, triple. That's it. Hmm. Yep, absolutely have a breaker there. Looked like it would have been a good entry. There's also built into that breaker is a fair value gap. Once again, I was on the wrong time frame and missed this setup. This would have been a sweet, sweet unicorn setup. I guess she could have taken from here. Probably put that there. So 1 to 2 looks like this. Yep. Oh well. Alrighty, it looks like I missed this setup here, which was essentially a breaker block with a fair value gap built in, which then turns into your unicorn, where you want to take the entry at the intersection of the two, right at the start of the breaker block, since that's also inside of where the fair value gap is. And then you want to feel comfortable taking that long, right? And in fact, since it's a fair value gap, we can shorten stop loss here, which then allows the 1 to 2 to move in from 21.5 points to 18 points, right at the top end of the new day opening gap. Stretch this out so we can see that. I just have the long tool here just so we can see when it completes. And that's with the assumption that it does complete. So we do have a fair value gap here, a bearish one. That we saw price push up to, hit the 50% mark and reject out. Push down into this fair value gap, which is also a push into the breaker, and then they bought out of it. Saw another retrace down to the level, and then we saw an impulse out. Right. This right here would have been a good entry. It's just a fair value gap entry. And let me just do a measurement to see where we are on the retracement. Okay, 70%. And bullish measurement. Not quite the 60%, but definitely past 50. We take the full range, including the wick, which I try not to do. Actually, let's get the wick of the lowest closing candle. So let's grab this one. Right, we can see we did pass the 50% threshold just by a hair, just 2 or 3 ticks. So let me move this just so it's a little cleaner. Drop the fair value gap. Slide the breaker over unless we need it. Let's see if price ping pongs between these two levels and is able to get through the bearish fair value gap. All right. Just for kicks and giggles, let me measure out an entry from this fair value gap just in case someone took that. Almost 29 points. This is why it was preferred to take it from here. down at 17,112 as opposed to 17,117. Yeah, that would save 5 points there. See if the dollar is still buying. Oh man, it sure is. That treasury auction must have been really good. Okay, right now, Nasdaq is the most bearish of all the pairs. The dollar is extremely bullish so far this hour, and Dow and S&P are close to their entry. So they've recovered majority of everything that they lost at the 1 o'clock. Sort of this big impulse move downwards that happened on all the indices. Everyone else has recovered almost fully, with the exception of Nasdaq. We're still struggling. We're probably around close to the middle, but the Dow and Nasdaq, I'm sorry, the Dow and S&P are up in this area. If this was the high and you saw the big drop, they've recovered 85%. I'm doing well. I'm good, Jello. Good morning. Or good afternoon, I mean. Still morning for me, but I recognize most people on the feed are either late afternoon or well into their evening. Looking for about another 10 points, another 10-point move up. Let me go and throw up the breaker block entry again. For 2 to 1 would be at this upper limit right here, the new day opening gap. Or if you were looking for 20 points exactly just as a metric, then it's right here at these candle bodies. Um, no, so what they have is, so when you pass the combine, they have there's some like fee that you pay, a registration fee or something similar. But you end up paying, it's about, I think it's around the amount that you paid for your combine, if I'm not mistaken. I know I'm been looking at the 150, but I think it's around $250 or so. And that's the last thing you pay. You don't pay for anything else. After that, you're just trading and you split the profits. So yeah, it's only after you pass, as a one-time fee you pay, and then your express funded account is good to go and you're in. And then later on, I believe it's after you've taken 20,000, you've taken 20,000 away, or I'm sorry, you got payouts of $20,000. That's when they start considering you for the live funded account, where it's not, I mean, because it's your express funded account is still like a demo account still. And it's not until after you've gotten payouts of over 20,000 and they've reviewed your account and they agree with your risk management and all that, and then they'll give you a live account. Alrighty. Looks like we've pushed a little bit above where we were the last 10 minutes or so. Not by much. Let's see if we can get a big push from price now and then run up at least through the new day opening gap. Oh, that's what you mean by half. Oh, I see what you're saying. No, so what it is I think you can only withdraw half at one time. Like it's all of that's your money, but you can't go in and just say, okay, give me all of it and then get back down to your original account size. I think you can only withdraw 50 at a time, 50% of whatever your balance is. And then like, let's say you get to the end and you say, I don't want to do this anymore. I just want to move to another broker and do my own thing. Then you could request the full payout if you close your account. But while you're still active, I think you can only withdraw 50% of profits at a time. I'm not sure if that's the same for all account sizes. But so far I've heard that around 20K is when you get considered for a live account. 20K in payouts. And yeah, I'll have to look into what are the differences between the live account and the express funded account. I'm not sure if they like remove the restriction on um, how many contracts you can take a trade on or things like that. I'm not sure what those differences are. I just know that when you have a live account, it's actually real money. It's a real account. Like if you opened your own brokerage account. Oh, yeah. Well, that makes sense because you're trading off of equity. So if you're requesting a payout and it hasn't happened yet and it's still being, I guess it takes a day to get paid, then they don't want you to trade that equity that they're going to remove from your account and pay you out on, just in case you lose it. So that makes sense, I guess. Back to when this trade got activated. So it would have been activated right here on this push down at 112. Okay, so about 4 points of drawdown is what this trade would have experienced in the early stages. And now you'd be in profit by 11 to 12 points. All right, 135 now, 135. So I guess after 2 o'clock, we'll be looking for the silver bullet. Hopefully, Chris is in the room. Okay, another set of equal highs. We had a high here at the 50% mark, and 2 candles ago we had a high here to equal at the 50% mark. So let's see if we can't get price to push through as opposed to just making another equal high. Let me make it larger so you can see. There we go. Okay, there it is. All right, now a couple more points, and we'll see if that breaker block created a winning trade. There it is. I was on the wrong time frame, so I didn't see it. But I did want to walk everyone through that trade. So anyone who wants to trade with that strategy, you see how it works. Right, remove this. So there's the 20 points delivered. Now for anyone who took an entry on this fair value gap, let's take a look at that. So you would have taken that at the right there. Stop loss right here. Okay. Now 1 to 2 would take you all the way up right here. All right, so this move up, we just had a sweep of the lunchtime high. Long way if we want to go and get the morning highs. But the lunchtime highs were swept. So now we have lunchtime lows and lunchtime highs swept this hour. Now let's see where price wants to go. The fact that it swept the lows first may give us a little more confidence that we're going higher, but we do need to wait and see. If you're a newcomer and this is your first time in the live stream with me, if you could say hello in the chat and also let me know where you're coming from and how long you've been trading. And don't feel bad if you're just discovering trading. If you've only been trading for a month or two, don't feel bad about that. Just let us know, just so I know who's in the room. Couple years? Okay. Good job, Brett. Good deal. Orlando. All right. Trading with Ken from Cali. Okay, so we're in the same similar time zone. Trading over a year and a half. All right. All right, Stephen or Stephen. Welcome from Ohio. Mr. Sticky, another day. Been at it for 3 months now. Okay. All right. Looks like price is pushing back to the origin of this fair value gap. Okay. So new to looking at futures. All right, Jay. Well, welcome to the channel. You've been trading stocks. Okay. I'll explain a small difference between, I haven't really traded stocks before, but the small difference between futures and foreign exchange, trading currencies, is generally what happens is with futures, you have one exchange. Everyone's trading the same numbers, the same time. Everything's coming from CME, Chicago Mercantile Exchange. And so we're all trading the same. When you're trading foreign exchange, it depends on your broker. So you may be with Oanda, you may be with any type of broker, and they all have slightly different prices. And it's all legal, so it's not like they're doing anything illegal. However, the what they are allowed to do is to play around with the spread. Um, Generally in futures, the spread is, at least on Nasdaq, is one tick or a quarter of a point. Occasionally, it can be 2 ticks, but that's generally going to be the most. If you look at other brokers, their spreads vary depending on what's happening. If there's a lot of activity, the spread gets wider. And so a lot of times, if you have a tight stop loss, widening the spread is what the brokers are allowed to do, and they'll just take you out of the trade. So for that reason, I prefer futures because at least I know I'm on level playing field with everyone, and we're all looking at the same price. But that's the difference between futures and foreign exchange. As far as stocks are concerned, I'm not 100% sure how that works. But again, yeah, welcome to the tank. Welcome to the channel. Right, Christian, Romania. Okay, 2 years of torment and suffering. All right, well, Christian, good thing you didn't give up and you're still here. You're still in it. So let's see if we can't get you to be a bit more consistent and until you turn into a profitable trader. So thank you for joining. Thank you for being here. I'm glad that everyone's here in the channel. And let's see what we can get during this session. All right, so we did see price return back to the origin of this fair value gap. Let me get rid of this long tool since it's kind of in the way right now. All right, so we saw lows rated, then we saw a raid of the high, and now we're in the middle. Let me put a measurement on it. 50%. Okay, right around 50% of the fair value gap. So we're not far off. There we go. Okay. Not a whole lot, Samuel. I don't involve a lot of volume into my analysis. It's more of just the candle prices and just paying attention to what the candlesticks are doing. But no, I haven't been huge on looking for when volume enters the market and those kind of things and what impact it has. But I do look at larger time frames sometimes just get a beat on the market to see where it's going, where we may be headed, where there are going to be some sticky points, that kind of thing. But as of now, I'm mostly trading on lower time frames, the hour and below. In fact, I'm not even trading off the hour. I use the hour to compare other commodities as well as the dollar just to see where things are moving to. But if I'm going to take a trade, it's definitely going to be below the 15-minute. Right, back down to the breaker block. I don't know why, but it seems like whenever I jump on live, price seems to stick. I jumped on this morning at 10 o'clock. Price kind of stuck there. It made one move and then just kind of been hanging around. And it's been that way for the last couple of weeks, it seems. Um, I've traded a couple Januaries now. I would say December seems to be a little harder than January. So I think January will be easier. It'll be good. It'll be good to get into a new month. You just got to be careful that then when you're looking at the higher time frames, for instance, the monthly charts, um, and also the yearly chart, you got to remember that early on it's going to want to go in and put a wick in, so it potentially can go the opposite direction of where you have price going for the year. So for instance, if we're looking at a higher time frame, we're looking at the weekly or up to the monthly, and we're bullish, we could have a bearish month, where on the yearly candle it's going to trend downwards, create the wick, and then maybe it'll buy up for a majority of the rest of the year. So just got to be careful that way. But otherwise, I think price action should return to normal maybe the second week of the year. Okay, that's excellent. I mean, I don't think December is. I wouldn't say you can't trade in December. It just seems like there hasn't been as many long runs during December. There have been a few, but for the most part, you get 50 to 75 points, and then there's a retracement. So you just got to be happy with enough. I would say that for December. Okay, looks like we got a small impulse here. Let's see if it can be sustained or if it's just going to be a wick into this fair value gap here and then trade down. Okay, looking good so far. Absolutely. Yeah, take what the market gives you. If it gives you 30 points, take the 30 points. Okay, the last candle was encouraging. Let's see how it follows up. We'll need to see a string of bullish candles if price is really going to push up. All right. Bit indecisive there. All right, we're into the macro before the 2 o'clock hour starts. So we'll see where price wants to run for the next 15 minutes. And then we'll look for a silver bullet setup for the next hour. All right, we want to see it push through this level. Okay. Well, hey, just join the stream every day, and hopefully something I say resonates with you. But I'm just a trader who likes to talk to myself to calm down, and it's much easier if I have a mic in front of me and an audience on the other side. I'm hoping so. It seems like it's already getting starting up. I mean, you see crypto prices pushing, indices are pushing towards all-time highs. Yeah, something's. It looks like something's brewing. Sweet, close above, awesome. Dump that. Let me put the long two back up for this fair value gap, just for good measure. And let's see if this fair value gap actually means something. Another 5 minutes before the hour is over. Okay, while we're waiting for the conclusion of the hour, I'm going to run off and grab a glass of water. I'll be back before the hour is over. Give me 1 second. Okay, we got 1 minute left. Okay, we got a slight retracement on the dollar to round out the hour. Looks like it pulled back maybe 30% or so from its high of the hour back into the fair value gap. So we'll see if it sells for the next hour. Okay. So all three indices kind of finish the hour, the bearish candle. Okay, 2 o'clock. Here we are. Let's see what we get. All right, I'm waiting to see if we can get a close above this fair value gap here, this pink one. If we can get a close above that, then I may feel a little better about being bullish. So far, the other two indices are also buying this hour, although it's only been 2 minutes. You need 500 bucks to finish the challenge. Okay. I will do my best. Absolutely. I'll try my best. I mean, just looking at this previous fair value gap and look at how many wicks we got into that area. 3, 7, 10. Got 10 wicks just on the 5-minute chart from 10 o'clock till now in this area, which was created by the impulse yesterday at 1600. That is definitely pressure. I mean, there's pressure just trading alone, just being here, hitting the button, and having all you watch me. There's pressure there too. Um, but no doubt he's putting pressure on me. But it's okay. I wanna see him succeed, so I don't mind. All right, looks like we did get a push above that area I was looking for and a closure. Let's go ahead and remove it. Okay. Yeah, I know you're just watching, but that doesn't mean that people don't expect me to make sound trades. Here would be 21. Nice setup. We'll see how this unfolds, and then I'll let you know what I just did. Okay, equal highs here, 3 of them. Price is definitely going to want to return here. So if it retraces a little bit, and hopefully it gets me an entry. If not, it's going to run through this area into this fair value gap, which is pretty big. Come on. Don't do this to me. All right, let's see now if we can get a strong push upwards past these relative equal highs, past the swing high over here from 142 and into the new day opening gap. We can get rid of this as well. Okay, good push. I like that. Okay, not too bad. All right, I'm going to ensure I don't have a losing trade now. Pay my fees for entering the trade and hope I win. All right, we have a fair value gap right here. Let's hope holds price up. All right, we still have the new day opening gap here. We need to push through and trade and close on the other side. And loss break even. Okay. Yeah, it'll take quite some work to do, but we'll see. But just remember, those are my trades. Having stats on my trades doesn't really help you that much unless you're copying my trades. Mhm. All right. Will this be the push that gets us through the new day opening gap, or are we just going to trade into it on this candle or the next several candles? Because we did have a trade up to it, but big rejection. Yep. I will say one thing, Samuel, I would have a much higher win rate if I left my stop where I originally placed it. Yeah. Yeah, I was the same way when I first started. I thought getting signals from someone was the way to go. And then I realized that if you don't know how to trade, getting a signal from someone still is not going to help you. It only gives you an entry, and then usually, at least when I was doing that, it was my first 6 months of trading. So I wasn't as familiar with price action and the fact that it always retraces back or it always gives you another entry. So I was taking really bad entries, or if I did get in and it was at a good point, I didn't know where to exit. I would hold it too long where it would come all the way back on me, or I would get out too early and only take a small win. I mean, it was a mess. Signals might be a good idea for people who really know how to trade and you just don't want to, sit at the charts all day and you want someone to send you an alert and say now. Um, that might be good for some people, but just didn't work for me. I'm a why person, so I ask too many questions, and usually people selling signals, they don't want to answer questions. They just want to give you the signal, and it's up to you. So it didn't work for me. Yeah, you're right. We haven't been able to get much at all. Where was the VWAP at? Where did you take it? I do too. I hope it pushes. We'll see. So was the VWAP at right at the new day opening gap around 26? Yep, we have all three indices buying as well as the dollar. So it's price action is not ideal right now. Just being honest with everyone on the channel. Um, but it's 2 o'clock. We're here. I saw a trade that fit my criteria, so I took it. But ideally, you want to see the indices and the dollar moving in opposite directions. On the 1 minute, it's at 128.75. Oh, okay. All right. So you got your quick 200 points or so, or $200 or so with 10 points. Sweet. Well, since I already have it at break even, I'm not going to touch it anymore. I'm just going to see if it goes to target. Anyone who's been on the channel the past couple days, you've seen me move my stop to break even, and you've seen me break even on all those trades, and nearly all of them went to target. So I'm going to try to hold this one, even though I did move my stop already. I don't want to. I don't want to cash out. I want to see if I can get it. But yeah, Dustin, you're absolutely right. It's been pulling back all day. It's been struggling to get past this area. I mean, we've been here since essentially we started at 10 o'clock. Maybe it'll be like yesterday, and at 3:50, it'll take off. Okay, let's see what we got. Oh, okay. That didn't look good. Yeah. Yeah, I agree. Take small victories, get in and out. Because even when we were trading up and I had a fair value gap mark right here, I was looking at the parameters and exiting that trade would have been right here at 127. It would have been a 10 or 11 point win, but that would have been the exit. And that's exactly where price went and then started to retrace. And it's coming back to where I started. There we go. All right. So I paid my fees and had a little bit of fun, but walked away with nothing. Now the question is, what happens next? Yep, because here is the original trade right here. $28 points, I think. 28.5. There we go. Oh, sweet. Sweet. 20 points. Not bad, Brad. Good job. See if I can't get a quick 5 pointer out of this. Sweet. Pay my fees. See if I can't win this. All right, I didn't like that rejection, but let's see what happens. Got 70% towards the target and then turned around. All right, let's see if it pushes now. Okay, just a couple minutes before 2:30. We're almost halfway through the hour. And price on all the indices seems to be stalling right now. Seems to be having some sort of resistance that it's pushing up against. There we go. All right, so I paid the broker for allowing me to trade. And again, walked away with what I came with. Yeah, a little disheartened, but we'll keep moving. Break even at 32. Oh, you got in at 32 on the short. Okay. Oh, thanks, thanks, Leo. Sorry, I didn't see your earlier comment when you say this is your first time here. Yeah, welcome, welcome. Good to have you here. Sure, you'll find that we're a good group of traders, and everyone's just here to collaborate. So, anything you have to say, any questions, just throw it in the chat. And again, welcome, welcome to the channel. And, oh, you're long, not short. Okay. Sorry, I realized that you were talking about being on ES, and I was looking at the Nasdaq. Sorry about that. Futures firm. I am with Topstep. I trade with Topstep. It's the only one I've traded with, so I don't really have any experience with others. Topstep seems to be really good, though. Some of my friends trade with Apex, but I've never used them. I'm open to a Discord server. I something basic where people can share ideas. Okay, yeah, I'll let me look into that over this holiday weekend and see if I can't put something together. See where we are. ML, I'm in the challenge now. I'm on my way. Oh, you have two funded accounts, two express accounts with them. Okay, sweet. Yeah, for anyone who's interested, there's the link down in the description if you want to check out Topstep. Man, yeah. So you're thinking lots? I'm trying to think. Yeah, I don't know exactly what the conversion is, but when I first started, yeah, I was using MT4 as well. And then I started trading, paper trading, because I don't know why people start trading with live funds. Like I did it. I threw money in an account and just started trading. Um, but then I started paper trading through TradingView, and I really got used to it because this is what I was using to mark up my charts, everything. And so trading through TradingView was what I got used to. And then when I started looking into trading with live funds or getting a funded account, I was dreading having to switch off of that platform because I'm so comfortable with TradingView platform. And luckily, Topstep has an agreement or some sort of contract with Tradovate, which is a broker that trades through TradingView. So if you sign up with Topstep, you log into Tradovate with your Topstep credentials, and then it allows you to trade through TradingView platform. So I prefer that. I'm already familiar with it, and it's extremely flexible, has tons of indicators. So it works for me. I like it. No, it's not $50 a month. It's $50 one time. Once you pass, then you have to pay sort of like the registration fee to get your express funded account and all those things set up. And after that, there's nothing else to pay for. And then you split profits, 90% for you, 10% for them. I think it may be 80-20 in the beginning, but at some point I know it's 90-10, and and that's it. Okay, Leo. Congrats. Congrats. And again, welcome to the channel. Good to have you here. Man, at 5 points I was looking for. It just won't deliver. So that's okay. And that's exactly where I moved my stop to break even. Just because right now price action is not looking for higher prices or lower prices. It just wants to looks like it just wants to trade and coast into the new year, as opposed to really pushing hard for new values. But we'll see if yesterday's high or today's high end up being the high of the year. Get rid of this. Look at this. uh, for the most part, we've traded from 17,100 to 17,130 is been the majority of our range since 10 o'clock this morning. And while you can win trades in this type of market, it doesn't lend to anything greater than 15, 20 points. So who's that who said they got 20 points earlier? Let me see who that was. Oh, there it is. Brad got 20. So they closed and got 20 points. So that seems to be about ideal for today's trading conditions, at least since the opening bell. No, Dustin, I'm still in my challenge. Not yet. Okay, we had another test at a 50% level of this fair value gap. Looks like it's pushed off from there. Got another 10 seconds before this candle closes. So let's see if we can get a bit more momentum and close above, open up the next candle and continue pushing. I'm going for 150,000 account, 150,000. Which, in hindsight, I probably should have done 50,000. It's a lot easier to get to that 3,000 mark than it is to get to the 9,000 mark. Right, and majority of my trades are still on one or two contracts, so it's still within the range that you would trade with on a 50,000 challenge. Um, you get as many days as you want. I think I'm about a month in now. But if you pass into the next month, then you do have to pay another sort of fee to keep the trade open. So you want to try to pass within 30 days if you can. Yeah, you're right. It is tight. You're right. The 50,000 account is a tight one. But reaching that $3,000 has not been an issue for me. Getting to 9,000 has. Like for some reason, I get hung up in that 5 to 6,000 range. So what I should have done is I should have traded my 150 like it was a 50. So if I'm doing one contract on a 50, I should be trading three contracts all the time on a 150. So therefore, I'm going to either pass or fail at the same rate. Um, that's what I should have done. So taking the 150 challenge, but then trading with risk management like you had a 50,000 account, that takes forever. And that's sort of the plight that I'm in now is whether I start risking more or I don't know. But for whatever reason, I can't get past that 5 or 6,000 range. Right, so far, we've gotten a good reaction out of that fair value gap. So we're already pushing out over 5 points so far. Boom, look at that. Sweet, finally. Exactly. Yeah, okay, yeah, there you go. You're going to get there. All right. Finally, we got to push out of the range. So the trade I took earlier, you don't move your stop loss, I would have still been in the trade. Let's see, what was this? Oh, okay. All right. So this was the setup earlier for anyone who wanted to take it out of this fair value gap. And clearly it's gone back and forth, back and forth. But I just want to, we'll show this one more time now that we've finally broken the range and broken this high. It still hasn't even gotten to a one-to-one yet. One-to-one needs to get above these candle bodies. And now we've gotten a major retracement. So yeah, price is still doing its thing. Same stuff it's been doing. May mark up this fair value gap so we can see if it holds price. Yeah, you're right. We got liquidity here on a swing low and here on another swing low. We got this swing low and we got this swing low. So yeah, it went down quite far, all the way to 50% of the fair value gap, taking out 3 or 4 swing lows with it. Okay, so all indices are moving upwards as well as the dollar. This is what anyone who follows ICT, this is what he calls a high resistance liquidity run. Um, and it's because the indices and the dollar aren't moving in opposite directions. So you don't have that correlation. And when you get it is when price takes off, and that's what they consider the low resistance liquidity run. So whenever you see the dollar moving in the same direction as the indices, or the indices moving in different directions and not together, then you know you're going to have some stalled price. And that's what we're experiencing right now. So that can be enough to keep you out of a trade that's going to just create agony for you, and you're going to fight and tussle with it all afternoon. It's not saying you won't win your trade, but you'd rather have a trade that's quickly moving in your direction and you feel comfortable about it. I mean, but you can see if we had entered this trade at 2 o'clock and said, okay, we're doing the silver bullet. Okay, so that would have been, already was inside. We traded out. So when we traded back in right here, 203, you could have entered the trade. Well, the stop loss is down here at 17,103, which we haven't reached yet. So you'd still be in that trade, but you'd only be up a few points, and you would have seen it pull back once, trade up, pull back a second time, trade up, and then we'll see what price action does now. But yeah, this is considered a high resistance liquidity run. Sweet. All right, Brad. Got in at 127. Well, it ran down to 118. So yeah, you should have been able to get anywhere from 5 to 7 or 8 points. Yep, ML, that's exactly what happened. And that's what's good about recognizing it, is then you know when you can walk away from the charts and go work out or go do something else, and then come back either later on that day or just come back another day, just so you don't have to sit here for a few hours and just pull your hair out looking for a setup or waiting for price to move. Especially if any of you become professional traders, or full-time traders, you're not going to trade every day. You're likely going to find your setups that you love and like, and you're going to do that 2 or 3 times a day. You're going to make the amount of money that you want for your career, um, and you're going to use the time that this career gives you over another career that may require much more of your time. You're going to use that time to do something different. And that's really what trading brings you. As much as trading is aimed at bringing you financial freedom, it also should bring you time flexibility, so you can go out and do some other things that you really want to do. Yep. That's a good strategy, Brad. Absolutely. Getting anywhere from 5 to 10 points and then jumping out. Sweet. Wow. 2,400. Even if it's over multiple accounts, it doesn't matter. It's still $2,400. Good job. Wow. All right back where we started. So for anyone just now joining, good news, you haven't missed much. All right, Jello. Take care, man. Mm. $44. Okay. You're right. NQ is ready to stop all the shorts. Yep. This is us on NQ. So we go from this level to this level, back down to this 50%, and up to this 50%, and back down to this 50%. So let's see, are we going back here now? All right, let's pull up the other indices and just take a peek and see where we are. Over on the hourly, on the dollar. All right, so we're looking at the hour here. And this is where we kind of got tripped up this morning. Okay, so the new day opening gap is it's pretty large, but we traded below during the 9 o'clock hour and closed below. Then during the 10 o'clock hour, traded down as well. Looks like it hit the 20 EMA. But after the 10 o'clock, when we got to 11 o'clock hour, we were hoping for lower prices and it would go and want to take out the low that was created at 4 o'clock this morning. But instead, got a big impulsive candle taking out the range from earlier in the day. And then it started making a new high for the day. And this was the last hour. So this was the 1 o'clock hour, I guess. Now here we are in 2 o'clock. We're finally getting the rejection. Both candles outside of the range, but we got a rejection, close inside. Next candle, equal highs. And now we're getting that rejection as well. 7 minutes left, so we'll see where this candle closes. But we really, for indices to go higher, we need the dollar to start pushing. We do have a fair value gap right here that it can push into, so that may be where it goes. But that was why basically price just got stuck. Once the dollar did this move on this candle at 11 o'clock, price got stuck from there. All right, let's jump over to ES since we've been focusing on Nasdaq. Not a lot going on. We did have every hour has dipped into this fair value gap and bought out of it, except for this past hour. Okay, we see ES is above the new day opening gap, which is a good sign, a really good sign, actually. Let's go to lower time frames here. If there's anything to play into, any fair value gaps, don't see any. I'd not like to see it retrace down here and take out 50%. We do like to see it trade into 50% of the wick. So this wick, we would like to see it traded into. However, I don't want to see it below the new day opening gap too often, because then it makes it that much more difficult to trade above it. Yeah, let's jump back over to, well, before we move, let's see what the Dow is doing. Oh, okay. I mean, the Dow has been leading bullish all day, mainly probably because it was trailing behind yesterday, but so far today, look, it's made a new high every hour, new high of the day. Even if it retraced back in, it still beat last hour's high. And it's doing the same this hour. It's been above the new day opening gap since early this morning, since it traded above at 10 o'clock. So yeah, I'm feeling good about the Dow. I just need the Nasdaq to catch up. Now, if you look at the Nasdaq, look at where we are. We've been below the new day opening gap ever since 10 o'clock. Well, we traded below during the opening bell, but we never traded back above and closed above. So yeah. Yep. So this is that high resistance liquidity run I was just talking about. when they aren't aligned, then you get this kind of price action. But I would say in this case, this is probably one of those situations where you would want to switch over and you'd want to trade the ES and not trade Nasdaq based on the way price action is. Right. I've had that question multiple times where people have asked me if I only trade Nasdaq, and I have mentioned that I trade ES sometimes, but mostly Nasdaq. If you were going to be someone who traded both, this would be what you'd be looking at. And when you saw ES being stronger, trading and closing above the new day opening gap, you see it making highs, then you'd want to trade the ES and leave Nasdaq alone. Okay. I haven't traded ES in a while, so I'm not going to switch over right now. I would need to get back and do a bit more back testing just so I can refamiliarize myself with the range. I do know, each point is worth $50, but just getting reacquainted with what the range of movements are. So I don't want to trade it right now, but that's something I'll need to back test some more so I can get more comfortable with that. I haven't traded ES probably in, I don't know, 3 or 4 months at least. Yeah, if you use today as an example, absolutely, it does look scary. There's a lot of wicks to play around with, and I hate it when such a low time frame comes with so many wicks. You would expect to see a lot of candle body here, but it's like wicks is what you expect on 15-minute, 1 hour, those kind of things. But yeah. Definitely not ideal, I'll say that. Okay, everyone, we are getting close to the end of the hour. Really close. We're getting close to it. Will be at 3 o'clock, what most people refer to as the power hour. So if you're enjoying the content, hit the like button, please. That would be a tremendous help for me, because that'll let YouTube know that those in the channel are enjoying the content. And so they'll try to recruit more people into the channel. So let's see if we can't get a few more people in for this last hour. So if you're enjoying the content, hit the like button. If you're not, just sit on your hands. Don't do anything. And for any visitor who thinks that this is a worthwhile live stream, please consider subscribing to the channel so you can get future invites. Pull that breaker across just in case we get some trades lower than this fair value gap. We still have this breaker that originated as a sort of the trade idea well before 2 o'clock when we were looking for a silver bullet. This breaker was in place that after the big move down, and then we saw a slight retracement back upwards. So it's still in play. I just wanted to move it out of the way earlier so it wouldn't be too much on the screen, but it looks like we're back in play. In fact, we traded back into it within the last 5 minutes and out, and now we just traded up to the edge of it. So yeah, it's 3 o'clock. All right, power hour it is. Thank you all who hung in there with me through that nasty price action. Let's see if we can't get a better hour here as we close out. Joshua, I do use trend lines. I do. Not necessarily for taking trades, but I use trend lines just to see when a current trend is being broken so I can get ready for whatever's next that's coming. Yeah, oftentimes when I do it, so for instance, I'll do something like this. Take this. Right. And so by setting that up, as soon as price buys and breaks that trend, then I'm like, okay, now we're looking for something different. But if price returned back up, I wouldn't necessarily take a sell thinking that it's going to hit the trend line and then bounce down. But I just use it to see when whatever it's been doing changes. Okay. All right. We're pushing again for the afternoon lows, which also are the lows for the day. Oh yeah, Joshua, welcome to the channel. I think it's the first time I've seen you make a comment, so welcome. All right, so we went down to the lowest extreme of the breaker. Had a pretty strong reaction out of that level. So the lower extreme of the breaker, it was also 50% of this fair value gap that it's in. Absolutely. We trade a plan, not emotions. Mm-mm-mm. Hmm. Not really pushing through the way I've expected it to. Well, we'll get ready for the afternoon macro at 3:15. It's coming up in 7 minutes. Right. So it looks like the liquidity sweep that came down to at 17,101 was what the last macro was doing. Now that we're in the next set, well, we will be at 315. Generally, that's the macro that runs you towards the midnight open price. Today may be a little different because the midnight open price, we already ran towards it this afternoon, got within 3 or 4 points of it during the 1 o'clock hour. So there's not necessarily a reason to run close to it again. So unless we see something really bullish where we want to jump on, price is probably most likely going to seek out lower prices. I think when we get here, that would be a good indication. Once we get to 50% of this down wick, we'll see if that's enough liquidity and if it wants to return to bullish sentiment. Okay, it's already done it. And look at what happened. As soon as it did it, it made another big impulse move. Yeah. Not looking good, at least for bullish sentiment. Let me drop this line since it means nothing now. Let's go to 2 minutes so we have fewer candles to look at. Maybe, you know, let's just do the 5 minute. There we go. One break even. All right. Have a good rest of the week. Yep, we'll see what tomorrow has. I'm back on it, back at it tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock. Hopefully you can join Leo if you're done trading for tomorrow and you're going to just rest and recovery for the rest of the week. Then I will see you on Tuesday morning, 10 o'clock. Okay, we've lost all key levels. Remember, this is the level from yesterday at 1800 when price just ran. Oh, not 1800, 1600. We were getting ready to turn off the computers and say goodbye, and then all of a sudden, price took off in front of us. But that fair value gap that was created has been the source of price stickiness today. So you can see how many times the wick fell in this area. And it kept pushing out, kept showing bullish reactions. So we all believed that we were going to get more bullish prices, and that just hasn't been the case so far. Now, what we haven't had also so far, we haven't had a close below. So this level is still relevant. It's the sticky, yeah. Oh, okay. All right, Chris. Well, it should be at a lower risk level since it's had quite a retracement. Let's see what else we have. So we had this one, which was invalidated. What is this? Let's see. You're in at 95. Okay, sweet. All right, let's peek over and see what everyone else is doing. All right, we have the dollar stalling so far, not really showing its hand. Last hour, the dollar didn't do anything. It made a full retracement from where it started. So far, we're bearish on all three indices. I was wondering, Chris, if you were going to move your stop loss, because I was looking down. I said, okay, he should be up 7 or 8 points now. So it's his call, but he could reduce his risk if he wants to. All right, there's a 10-point scalp for you, Chris, if you wanted it. Okay, sweet. All right, so you've already locked in $100 of profit for you if you're on a mini, but if you're on a micro, $10, but still, he's locked in 5 points profit. Oh, I didn't realize that was on the 2-minute. Oh, wow. Been meaning to have that on the 15. All right, Al, thanks for joining us today. We'll see you tomorrow. We're back at 10 in the morning, also the afternoon session at 1 p.m. We'll close out the trading year tomorrow. All right, Joshua, have a good evening. We'll catch you tomorrow. No. All right, Chris. Well, at least you got 5 points. Oh, that would have been an amazing entry. Let's see if we can't get a bounce here. No, don't do this to me. Come on back. Mm. Come on. Come on down. Couple more points. Uh, okay, let's see now if we can get a bounce up to those equal highs. Okay, let's make a run. Let's see if we can't first get to this high at 17,104. Okay, I'm not a huge fan of it continuing to visit the entry. I want to see it push away and not provide the entry anymore. Okay, not what I was hoping for. All right, so it looks like maybe there is no bullish sentiment right now. We're pushing up on 330 in just another couple minutes. All right, there's the end of that trade. All right, so it didn't work out. Let's remove some of this. All right, let's see what's this one. We would have been here. 102, 18, 102, 102 to 120. All right, so this would have been around the take profit, somewhere around the 120 range right here. This fair value gap would have been the entry. Stop loss would have been right here. And you would have been pushing for this level. Today's low is the stop loss. Okay. Awesome, Chris. Yeah. For this fair value gap entry, this would have been the proper stop loss. I think I had mine set here at 95. Because yeah, it was only 4 points. I think the loss was $80. So it's like 4 points. But yeah, the proper stop loss would have been here. All right, Chris, looks like you have another 5 points already. I think today is the most visitors we've ever had visit the live stream. Between both combined, but definitely I think this afternoon one has had more views, partially because it's an hour longer than the morning session, but still we're doing really well. Seems like people are finding us, and not only are they finding us, but when they come in, they're hanging out for a while and they're enjoying the content. So I'm very pleased with that, and I will continue the live streams. Let's see if we can't get price to continue to push up so Chris can walk away with another victory. I mean, I wouldn't mind getting tapped in myself, but we do want to see higher prices. Yeah, you're right. I am growing for sure. I should hopefully be around 300 subscribers by the end of the week. I'm hoping. Honestly, it'd be really nice to start the new year with like 350 subscribers. But we'll see. I'm going to push and we'll see if we can get there. Let me stretch this across as well, just so people can see what the entry would have been. Fair value gap within a fair value gap. Oh, 500. Oh man, that would be well above my expectations. I'll take it though. Let's see. The more people we get in the room, the more people that we can potentially get to join and subscribe to the channel. So we'll see. So far, 43 likes today. I think the highest we had was 44. So we're really close to it. And we still have another 25 minutes or so. So maybe someone can join, watch the last 20 minutes and realize that this is something they want to be a part of. CNBC and Bloomberg. Wow. Well, let's see. If that happens, then I'm definitely doing something right. And I mean trading. That means I'm blowing it up in here. But that also means you guys be blowing it up too, because you'll be watching me do it. Mm. They're going to release my limit order and just sit back and watch it now. That price doesn't really want to get out of this area. But in the event that it does, I think it's low probability. So I'm just going to sit on the sidelines now. But Chris, good luck to you. I hope that price does push and you get the 10 points you were looking for. I had my stop too close, so it took me out. And so it's just not worth it to join another trade today. But we live to see another day and we'll trade tomorrow. Right. Broken those equal highs. And we're going to charge for 17,108. Then we're going for equal highs at 113. Only I didn't have such a tight stop loss. Right, let's see if the close out of this candle will take over this high and close above this fair value gap. Oh, thank you, John. I really appreciate that. Hopefully we get a few more people who want to join the room and just start taking off from there. Okay, 45 likes. I think we're number one now. I think this is the number one liked session of the live feed so far. All right, got a new high, I think. Not yet. So this would be our next target, these equal highs. Hmm. Something tells me that once we break through, price is going to show some a real willingness to get up to some of these levels. We might even close out around the new day opening gap. Come on, 20 minutes left. Let's see if we can do it. Right. Mr. Sticky, it's for sure. Profit is profit. You're right. Even a $1 is profit. And there's another trading day tomorrow. All right. Took out these equal highs that were just created. Again, let's see if we can make a run on this next set. Hopefully Chris didn't close his trade. Boom, there it is. All right, Chris, I know you got your 10 points by now. All right. Now we'll see if this fair value gap, remember when I pointed out what the proper stop loss should have been for it? Let me put that back on the screen. Trade would have been here. That would have been the stop loss. And the 1 to 2 trade would have put take profit. Oops. Okay, something's missing. Something's not right. A little higher. 1 to 2 is here. All right, so it must be this. Look at it. Perfectly lined up with a swing high. Look at that. Going for 20. All right. 17020, 17020. All right. Well, I have a TP of 17021, so that's actually good that you pull out a couple points before the ultimate high, because that's usually when price gets sticky or wants to do a retracement or something. So get out before that. But at least you can move your stop loss. Oh, stop loss at 10. Okay, sweet. Oh, what time chart? Ashley, sorry, I didn't catch your question. I'm right now in the big one that you see is the 1 minute. You can see it right up here. The 1 minute. The one on the bottom left is 15-minute time chart. I usually bounce back and forth on the big screen between 30-second, 1 minute, and sometimes the 5 minute. No problem. Thanks for being brave enough to ask a question. Not many people are joining and asking questions because we have lots and lots of people in here, but generally around the same 7 to 10 people are the ones in the chat. So welcome to the channel. All right, Chris is stopped out now, but he got 10 points on this one and 5 points on the first leg. So Chris, you managed to pull 15 points out of this mess. So good for you, man. Good job. Yeah, and the crazy part about that, Chris, is you just pull 15 points out of nowhere, right? And if you can manage 15 points a day, right? If you was in on 2 contracts, you're talking about 150,000 in a year. Right? And that's not a whole lot. Granted, that's 15 points profit every day. But you can average that, right? Some days are going to be break even. Some days are going to be a loss. Some days are going to be, you're going to win larger than that. But if you're averaging 15 points on 2 contracts, you're talking like that's a serious living there. And so, I mean, obviously our goals are much higher than that. But just what you just did was something small, but over time can be something so large. Yep. All right, back down to break even. Origin of the trade, back down to the fair value gap. Okay. 50% of that fair value gap. Let's see now if we get a big push out higher than what we just saw. We got 10 minutes left. It's now 3:49. We all get suckered back in. It always happens. Whether you're losing and you just can't wait to overcome that, or you're winning and you just want to keep winning. Against the rules to make more money, I see. All right, Mr. Sticky. Thanks for joining today. I'll see you tomorrow. Yes, I only trade mini futures, mostly Nasdaq, but I will pop over to S&P from time to time. But yes, just mini futures. None of the CFDs like US 100 or US 30, any of those, and also no forex. I mean, if someone in here is a forex trader and you want me to look at Euro USD or something, I don't have a problem pulling the chart up. I haven't looked at it all year, but I'll do it. Okay, are we not going to get the impulsive action we got yesterday at 350, 355? Okay, well, you got 6, almost 7 points. That's not bad. CFDs, yes, I stay away from CFDs because every broker has their own values. I like trading futures because everyone in the world who's trading futures has the exact same charts in front of them because there's only one broker. Or there's multiple brokers that do it, but it's all the same feed from CME, Chicago Mercantile Exchange. So I prefer to trade futures for that reason. In fact, to trade futures, you have to purchase live feed from the Mercantile Exchange, which is about $5 a month, about $5. You get all 3 indices, but you get the live data. You can't trade futures without the live data. Now, if you trade through prop firms, they have already purchased that on your behalf, so you will be trading with live data through the prop firm. But if you have your own brokerage account or you're doing something else, then you have to pay for that data. And again, it's like 450, 475. It's less than $5 a month, but you do have to pay for it. If you trade CFDs, every broker has different values, so it just depends on who your broker is, and they have the ability to increase the spread on you, which will take you out of trades if you have a close stop loss. Whereas if you're doing futures, the spread is the same for everyone. And so for that reason, I like futures. Also, trading through Topstep, that's what Topstep does. They trade futures. I bet I do think there are some restrictions on which countries can trade futures. So there may be some viewers, depending on where you're from, you may be forced to trade CFDs as opposed to being allowed to trade futures. Oh, 17097. Oh, sweet. Wow. Okay. So you got a nice trade. Still learning. Okay. Well, no worries. Gorkum, I think is Gorkim. Yeah. Well, thank you for being here. I think you'll find this room informative, very educational, easygoing. So if you're still, learning some of the concepts and not everything is clear to you, don't be bashful. Feel free to throw a question in. Someone from the room will answer, or I'll answer it directly myself. So yeah, if you see anything that you don't exactly understand, don't be afraid to ask. All right, so that trade would have ended in a loss. It would have been stopped out. Anyone trying to go long from this fair value gap and trying to extend it up on a 1 to 2 trade would have been a loss. It poked out right here. All right, we did get that impulse at 350 that I asked about, but in the other direction, 355. So 2 days in a row at 355, we got a nice size candle that either gave you what you were looking for or took you out of a trade. All right, we can finally get rid of fair value gap from 355 yesterday. All right, closing in last 4 minutes or so of the session. Any final questions or comments? Oh yeah, absolutely. I use Topstep. There's a link in the description if you want to use Topstep. There's a lot of information on their channel, and a lot of traders are using them. But a competitor to Topstep that some of my friends are using is Apex. So Apex also does futures, and it's a prop firm. So both of these are prop firms. If you're just looking for a broker that does it, I would have to look some up. There are a bunch out there, but I would have to look them up. I'm assuming Tradovate is one because my Topstep account goes through Tradovate, so I can use this platform, which is TradingView, to make my entries. I don't have to go to another platform to enter. I can just stay in TradingView. I log in down here at the bottom. There's a little login. You pick your broker, and then you can trade directly from here. Okay, 355 is the second imbalance on the indices. Okay, it will happen every single day. Okay, cool. Well, I'll be looking out for it every day then, because it definitely helped out yesterday, but today it took us out of the trade. It invalidated it. No problem, no problem. Any other questions or final comments? Three 47 p.m. Okay. Yes, Ashley, I'm streaming daily. I'm back at it tomorrow morning, 10 o'clock New York time. And if you can't make it to the AM session, I have a PM session scheduled tomorrow at 1 p.m. New York time. Yep. So if you subscribe to the channel, you'll get an invite, and also 30 minutes before we go live, you should get an alert or some type of reminder. And I think it also reminds you when I actually hit the live button. I'm not sure, but I think it does. No, I've never tried crude oil, but I do know some people who love crude oil, and that's in fact one guy in particular. He loves trading crude oil overnight. So that gives him something to do late in the evening, is to check on what oil is doing and intra position, and then he goes to bed and wakes up to see how it unfolded. Oh, okay. Lauren Mills. So where did you learn about this imbalance? Because I've never heard about it. I'd love to read up on it. No, I'm not on Instagram. I should be though. So just stick with me. I'm gonna set up an Instagram account and start maybe posting up some short videos or something of some of the trades, or maybe some inspirational quotes. I don't know, but I'll set something up. But no, I'm not a huge social media person, but I think it's only right. Subscribe. Thank you, Ashley. Thank you. I look forward to seeing you in the future. Not a problem. Not a problem. I'll be here tomorrow morning, 10 a.m. New York time. SPX, okay? All right. All right, everyone. We are now at 1600, and look at the price. Decided wants to buy up a little bit. We're here. Everyone, thank you for joining today. Another great session, another great day. So we had two sessions. And again, on your way out, hit the like button, please. That really, really helps the channel. And if you like what you saw, like what you heard, or you're kind of on the fence and you want to give it another try to see if you do like it, give me a subscribe so you get that future invite. I really do appreciate everyone being here and not having me talk to myself. So thank you very much, everyone. Tomorrow morning, we're right back at it. Talk to you then.